Oh, that's so magical. Everybody just got quiet all of a sudden. How about that? I'd like to call this meeting, the Clay County Commission, to order. We will begin with our invocation. Phil, if you'd like to come forward, you know the drill, so please proceed.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we acknowledge you as the one and only true governor of this universe. For you alone rule in complete sovereignty over all of your creation. Only you, King of Kings, rule and reign over the greatness of this galaxy as well as the smallest of your creatures on earth. There is nothing that can hide from your righteous judgments or compassionate care. Every man and woman, boy and girl, toddler and infant is a beneficiary of your wisdom and power. Spirit of the living God, pour down the refreshments of body and soul in this deliberative body. Sound decisions would prevail. Enliven our spirits as well to ever-increasing levels of compassion and vision, that peace and prosperity, reverence and respect may renew and undergird our society. Guide with your Spirit the debates of this council and fill this chamber with your providence and peace. In that holy and righteous name that is above all names, we offer our humble petitions and gratitude. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Nolte?
Here.
Commissioner Withington? Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson? Commissioner Carpenter?
Here.
Thank you. Next is approval of this evening's agenda. Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion's been made for the approval of this evening's agenda. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. That brings us to public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on any issues? Please, if so, please come forward and address the commission. Seeing none. That brings us to our consent agenda. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, good evening. We have 9 items on our consent agenda tonight. Let's go through those pretty quickly here. 2622, approval of invoice payments for Clay County for the period of August 8th through August 14th. 2026-215, approval of 2026 through 2027 grant acceptance, Missouri Department of Transportation Highway and Safety Traffic Division, hazardous moving violation with the Sheriff Department. 2026-216, grant acceptance, Missouri Department of Transportation Highway and Traffic Division, dedicated hazardous moving violations enforcement, also with the Sheriff Department. 2026-217, Missouri Department of Transportation Highway Safety and Traffic Division, dedicated impaired driving enforcement with the Sheriff Department. 2026-218, Missouri Department of Transportation Highway and Safety Traffic Division, impaired driving enforcement with the Sheriff Department. 2026-219, grant acceptance with Missouri Department of Transportation Highway Safety Traffic Division, youth alcohol enforcement grant. 2026-225, grant application for the fiscal year of the CLP Community Policing Development Micro Grant for the Sheriff Department. 2026-220, approval of purchase of 3 fleet vehicles for the field staff personnel with Gary Crisley Ford with our Assessor Department. And 2026-227, approval of grant acceptance for fiscal year 25 Emergency Management Performance Grant, Department of Public Safety, State Emergency Management with the Sheriff Department. That'd be it for our consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion related to our consent agenda? Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Motion has been made for the approval of this evening's consent agenda. Are there any comments or questions on any items on the consent agenda from the commission? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
Actually, I would like to make one comment.
Please proceed.
My delay is because I was trying to figure out some numbers here, and I don't have them all figured out. I just want to say that we're talking about some grant awards here, or grant applications. They total looks like over $400,000 in grant money that we could potentially be getting here in the county, which I think is awesome. I think that's great that we're looking at other sources of revenues.
Definitely.
So I just want to acknowledge that. And with that, I close.
Very well. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next is our regular agenda. We have 3 items on that agenda, the first being 2026-223. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, 2026-223, approval invoice payments for Clay County Prosecutor's Office from August 8th through August 14th. Total of 6 invoices totaling $1,690.52.
Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve 2026-223.
Motion's been made for approval of 2026-223. Further discussion? Seeing none, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next on our agenda is 2026-224. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, 2026-224, approval of purchase of 20 Daniel Defense Patrol Rifles for Clyde Armory. The Sheriff Department are here to explain additional information.
Brian Sapp, Sheriff's Office. So I oversee the training unit, our training division. I'm assigned at the Law Enforcement Resource Center. So we have some additional areas that we need to kind of replace our patrol rifles and stuff. We have probably about 50 rifles that were purchased between 2010 and 2011. They're getting to be like 15, 16 years old. Appears that we have grant funds available for that replacement. So that's what we're here just requesting today.
And what, I'm sorry, I think you said what rifles they were replacing?
We currently have some other patrol rifles, so they're just a newer version of what we already have.
Okay.
The ones we have are just toward their end of service life, 15, 16 years old.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Johnson?
Just a quick comment before I make this motion. I just finished yesterday the 2-day AR-15 course that KCPD puts on, which was a hoot. But those rifles are certainly pretty valuable when it comes to patrol operations for law enforcement officers. And I'll have Commissioner Lawson know that I scored 100% on both the day and the night shooting. So with that, I move to approve 2026-224.
Motion's been made for approval of 2026-224. Any further discussion? Seeing none, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
That brings us to our third and final item on the regular agenda, that is 2026-226. I always like when the numbers line up that way. So, with that, Mr. Administrator?
Yes. 2026-226, approval of purchase of the Delta handheld narcotics testing instrument and supplies, thermal scientific portable analytical instruments with the Sheriff Department.
Captain Chris Johnson. I'm the Investigations Division Commander with the Sheriff's Office. The Thermo Fisher TruNarc Delta is a handheld analyzer. We've actually had a version of this since 2015 that was originally bought for the Clay County Investigative Squad. It is a scientific-based analyzer, and this one is completely outdated. At the time, in 2015, this cost $22,000. So, and you can imagine how hard law enforcement is on, certain pieces of equipment. So we had a warranty on it. Obviously, warranties are, they expire. We've had to send it in for multiple repairs, and this one is just getting repaired so many different times that we can't keep repairing it. The port is going bad in it. Now, what else is going on with it? The library has since been updated with the new technology to cover all the different types of narcotics that are out there and the different types of compounds that are in the narcotics as well. How this device works is you turn it on, you do a self-check on it. You don't even have to touch the narcotic if it's already in the packaging, which is so much safer with the fentanyl, the xylazine that's out there that is being mixed with fentanyl and things like that. So much safer for our officers and detectives. But anyway, you shoot the laser into it, it tests the molecular structure of the narcotic, it'll give us back an instant result, and then we can use that as a scientific test that the prosecutors can charge, if we meet the standards, to charge in custody versus waiting months for the items to come back from the lab. So what this request is for is to replace to an upgraded model.
See, thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Did you say that can work actually through the packaging?
Correct, yeah. There are certain things that it won't, like, we can even test through glass. If the glass is dark, we may have to express it out into a different type of vial. If the packaging is too thick, we may have to adjust it a little bit. It only takes a little bit of the corner, especially if it's like methamphetamine. We only need a small bit of it to test.
That's amazing. Move to approve 2026-226.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2026-226. Commissioner Carpenter.
Well, I got just one question for you, if that's all right. So,
I'll come back up to the dais.
I'm
please.
sorry about that. Same actually, general question as Commissioner Johnson, because now you've got me intrigued. Does the current, the 2015 tech, does that go through plastic or glass?
Yes, it can. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. It's so outdated now, and with the updated technology, like I said on that one, it can't be repaired anymore with the port.
Gotcha. And will the new version be even better at doing that?
Absolutely. And the way it was explained to me and the way I researched it and spoke to the rep with Thermo Fisher, the updated evidence library and what it can test is so much better and faster. I'll be amazed to see what it looks like, when it comes in. But yes, it's supposed to do everything twice of what that one can do.
Yeah, good deal. Well, this is so news to me too. I've said before, I watch a lot of On Patrol on my Friday and Saturday nights, and one of the things they do is they have to test the drugs on the spot when they're doing their traffic stops. And I guess I haven't been interpreting what they've been doing as being able to scan through that. They usually have to put it out on like a little.
Well, so what it used to be,
Yeah.
what you're speaking of is like the old field test, where you basically, especially they were real big during marijuana days, where you could take a piece of the plant, put it in the packaging, break the ampules, shake it, and you'll get a purple color, and it's, it'll turn positive, it was marijuana.
Yeah.
Or we have the small little ampules you can squeeze, if it turns blue, it was a methamphetamine, purple was cocaine. This depends on the product,
Right.
it depends on the manufacturer. But with that, you risk touching the, substance and things like that now, especially even if you're wearing gloves, even if you're wearing masks and things like that, if you're taking it out of the packaging with fentanyl and everything, you're so worried about the particles that are getting in the air.
And so you the device itself scans the molecular structure of whatever the substance is, and
That's
it's able to.
Yep, and it gives us exact
Give a
result,
readout.
and we can we load it in the computer, we print it
Yeah.
out, and we can give it right to the prosecutors, and they'll charge that usually in custody. Now, sometimes we do run into issues where it doesn't happen so much anymore because the technology has gotten so much better and is being well used around the county and different states as well. But it used to be if the suspects wanted to take it to trial, then they would ask us to go ahead and send it to the lab, just so there's a secondary backup to supporting what the test was. But you don't see that as much anymore.
Fantastic. Well, we should definitely get one of these. Thank you. Appreciate the information.
Please don't go yet. We're going to wear out the carpet, a little bit of the carpet here. Commissioner Wagner and I also wanted to ask a question, but Commissioner Wagner will go first.
No, just a warning based on the interest of my colleagues. You're not checking these machines out or anything like this for commissioners, because I have a feeling there's a potential investigation, yes, that may come that may or may not be legit or legal, but appreciate I'm just giving you a warning. If your phone lights up and you see their numbers, just maybe let it go to voicemail just in case. But thanks for all you do, and I appreciate you bringing this technology forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I did have a couple of questions. One is, you'd mentioned that in some cases it may be necessary to open the packaging with the older machines.
Correct.
Would this not do a better job of protecting the integrity of the evidence when it is turned over to the prosecutor, should it come to that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, of course, there's always that potential that, things have to be manipulated or changed. I mean, you can't predict everything, how it's going to be packaged. I mean, some users, some dealers and everything will have everything so tight and wrapped that it can't get through it. If that's the case, and if we do suspect that it is fentanyl, especially that type of narcotic, I've instructed our staff that we're not even going to open it. We're just going to send that to the lab. Because we had some detectives that we had to send to the hospital not too long ago because they were exposed to fentanyl down in our evidence area, and we sent them. But occasionally, you don't have to, or more often than not, you don't have to open the packaging anymore, even with this advanced laser.
When the test is done, is it pretty much a negligible occurrence to have a false negative or false positive?
No, and that's what's great about the updated software on that. On this item here, if we had a subject that would not test, and the new one will do it as well, it'll give us an inconclusive result. It won't guess. When we had an issue about 3 or 4 years ago with this, when the evidence library was first updating, because you could send it in for updates, we were getting dual compounds of methamphetamine and fentanyl, and it didn't know exactly what it was. So then we were running into issues of how the schedule was to charge those narcotics at the court. So we were having to send all those to the lab. But with the updated libraries now, we don't have to do that.
And the other thing that occurs to me is the timeline in which it can process and give the law enforcement professionals on the spot whether or not they're dealing with, because certainly there are going to be times when, while the substance may look suspicious, it turns out to be nothing. That can certainly happen. A couple of things occur to me. One is the more quickly that determination is made, that enhances the safety for officers who are on the scene so they know what they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And secondarily, if it turns out that it is a substance that is not illicit, the citizen who has been detained is more quickly able to go on their way, assuming there are no other issues to be dealt with.
Correct. It works on both sides. Yep.
So it seems to me to be an awfully good way to go. Plus, as I just mentioned, the integrity of the evidence that would go then to the prosecutor. It seems to me that the modern technology is a higher quality of evidence in the case of a trial, whereas perhaps the old machines, as they get even older, might well be more prone to error. So this way it gives the best possible evidence, I would suspect.
I agree.
Okay. Before I let you go.
I got one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do the courts
Hit your
recognize-
microphone. Oh, you're on. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Do the courts recognize this as conclusive, or does it still have to go to the lab?
Yeah, it's still scientific. The only one that we have to send it to the lab, and we don't have to do as much anymore. If the suspect requested a trial, then they wanted us to send it just so we had that backup through either the Highway Patrol lab or Kansas City Crime Lab.
That saves a lot, not having to send all
Absolutely,
to the lab.
yeah. But again, they will charge it, whether it's in custody or as what we call an anytime submission. They will charge it this based on the scans that we print out.
Yeah, okay. And then back to the TV shows, the ones I watch, they actually just stick their finger in it and taste it. You guys don't do that anymore?
I think I saw Lethal Weapon did that, yeah.
With that, I close.
Okay. I see no other wishes for comments. Thank you for coming back and answering the additional questions. With that, please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. That concludes our regular agenda. Next, our discussion items. We have 2 items for discussion this evening. The first one having to do with the Missouri extension. Mr. Administrator, if you'd like to
Yes.
introduce that, we will proceed.
Yes, first item is an update from Missouri, University of Missouri Extension. G.K. Callahan here to provide the presentation.
Hi, good evening. How's everyone doing? I'm G.K. Callahan. Nice to see familiar faces, and thank you for having me this evening. I'm going to go through this quickly, and it's probably not going to be nearly as interesting as the drug testing see-through machine that I don't know what's called. So I think I just, a pointer, here we go. So a lot of this is going to be repeat information for all of the commissioners here. Hopefully you know some of this, but Extension's really your front door to the University of Missouri. And why is that important? Because we provide resources and informational knowledge to help improve people's lives. So that's what we do. We serve Missourians and we deliver Mizzou. Mizzou, as you think, might be Columbia, but it's also UMKC, S&T, Rolla, all those schools. So there's 4 campuses around the state, and then there's Extension, which covers all 114 counties plus the city of St. Louis. What's really important that I really want to drive home today in this presentation is that we're a cooperative system, and I think the commissioners here know that, but that's really important because a lot of people don't understand how Extension actually operates. And so we get money from the federal government, from the state, and then our local partners. Our local partners often in Clay County are the county that helps fund some of our operations, but that's also other nonprofits, grants, foundations help support Extension, and together that makes up our office. So we're not one entity talking to you, we're all part of the entities that are coming together to make the Extension services. Extension right now is based on 4 grand challenges. I'm not going to read everything. Obviously, this PowerPoint is left for the commission to review later because there's a lot of data in here. But we are really working on the growth of agriculture in our state. As we're the state of Missouri, agriculture is one of our biggest GDPs. We really want to make sure there's economic opportunities and that there's access to education and that people are healthy and have a good well-being, because you can't do anything if you're not healthy. And so that's really important. Our local office is really guided by local people, and this, I think, is also very important for Clay County to understand, that we're made up of elected and appointed individuals from the county. So they're the ones who are deciding how the local dollars get spent, what programmings get offered, and what kind of things we're doing around the county. The University of Missouri has over 200 programs that we offer statewide, and there's about 54 offered locally. So it gives you an idea, there's sort of a menu to pick from, and the council helps kind of direct some of those decisions. We're more than just classes, though. I think people often think, oh, extension, you teach classes, this is all you do. We do more than just teach. We advise municipalities, we connect different nonprofits together on issues, we help sit at like soil and water conservation boards, things along those lines, and we help really build capacity. So for everyone in this room, but the commissioners in particular, since I'm talking to you guys, 2 things you probably don't know today is A, we have hundreds of publications online that are updated all the time that are really relevant for the season. So whether you want to learn how to grow better tomatoes, you want to help improve tourism, you can imagine, the library is endless for the publications. The other thing on there, both of those, by the way, are hyperlinks. So when you're in the PowerPoint, you can just click on those. The other thing is All Things Missouri, which I think is a really great resource. It's undervalued. It's basically a data set. So if you want data on your county, on what's going on with workforce, on all kinds of other things out there, you can go to one stop in this place and it pulls from all those data resources, and it's a free resource for Missourians. So if you don't know, the university really operates in these sort of 6 quadrants. So we have programs that work around agriculture and natural resources, youth development, which is our 4-H program. We have health and nutrition, or health and families. We have business and workforce, community and economic development, and then access to just the university's expertise. And so that's kind of the lanes that we like to stay in when we're operating those 200 plus programs. They're coming out of one of those sections. So some numbers for you on what we've done in the last year, and I put a little note up there in the asterisk. We have a new reporting system, so some of this data is still getting worked out. But in this last year, to date, and the year's not over yet, we've had 503 sessions, over 155 activities in Clay County alone. And that includes things like Tai Chi for arthritis, fall prevention, eating healthy on a budget, are just some examples. The youth we've reached is almost 1,300, not 1,000. And we've done outreach in places like Liberty, Excelsior Springs, Gladstone, the list goes on. And we have all kinds of partnerships within the county. So again, I want you to come back to this PowerPoint because there's a lot of numbers in here and I know we can all read, so I'm not going to read everything on the screen. But this is kind of where we are right now with our numbers and how we're reaching Clay County. Obviously, we are strongest in our 4-H youth development at the moment, but we have a lot of work in the agriculture section. The SNAP Ed nutrition, that's, as you know, from a federal government has gone away, so that those numbers will change as the year goes on, unfortunately. But we're really ramping up our business and community work that we're doing, especially with the county. Again, another slide just kind of explaining the numbers. So right now, this year to date, we've hit about 5,000 people in programming, and these are direct contacts. These are not people that are going online and searching things. These are one-to-one. You're in a classroom setting. You're learning something with the county, and that's been delivered with over 500 session activities. Yeah. What I think is really important to go back to that idea of University of Missouri being a cooperative system is we do nothing. There. And this is one of my council members, so I'm pausing. I'm going to take a breath here for a second and let him collect himself. Yeah. Hi, Dan. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Good evening. Nice to see you. Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, Commissioners. Dan Hartman, 408 East Meadow Street, Smithfield, Missouri, and glad to be here tonight as the chair of the Clay County Extension. So.
Great. Well, thanks for joining, Dan. It's nice to see you. And this is the perfect slide to have this happen on, because your support is a multiplier, but what I mean by that is we couldn't do it without our partners. And our partners are our volunteers and our council members. So the council is one of Extension's biggest volunteers, but we obviously with local government, with libraries, with health systems. And so down there you can see a list, and this is not an exhaustive list, but of all the partners that work to make our programs happen. I think one of my favorite things from last year was our food drive we did with the Clay County Health Department. When they cut the SNAP Ed benefits from the federal government, our extension office had some dollars in a program that wasn't going to be used, and we knew those dollars needed to be used. And so the council voted and did a food drive to hand out food to people, and we partnered with the health department here in Clay County to make that happen. It was actually one of 3 food drives. We did one in all 3 counties that we're in, but that was one idea, one example of where the cooperative system really comes into play. You know, we didn't know how to necessarily reach those clients that were most in need, but the health department did. And the council had the funds to do that through the county, and so we were able to make something like that happen. So that's one example of where I think the cooperative system worked really well. Partners and volunteers, like I said, are really important. This is one program. So our Master Gardeners program has over 400 volunteers in the area, and they have over 24,000 hours in 2025 of volunteer community service. And so that has a dollar amount of almost $800,000 of return for the county, but it's also about 9,000 pounds of produce that go into food banks. So not only are we educating people, teaching them how to grow their own food and be healthy and garden, but they're taking what's made out of that education and giving it back to the community in food for food banks. And so we're really trying to close the loop on the system as using education as a tool to better people's lives. Stay strong and stay healthy. This is another example. This is one class, and it really helps with fall prevention. And so that number you see, that $137,000, is what was saved in ambulance costs from this class alone. And so, you know, the more we can multiply participants in courses like this, the more savings that the county and municipalities receive. Lastly, this is my favorite example I always like to go to because the numbers are always so large. These are current this year's numbers because we just closed the season here. We did only 6,450 taxes for people. This is through the VITA program, and it equaled $8 million in returns back to Kansas City households, and just not paying the fee to have your taxes done was $1.6 million. So programs like this have a huge real-life impact, and it's managed through 250 volunteers. Right, so there's one coordinator from Extension that does this. There are 22 site locations and partners, again, cooperative system. We don't do it in a silo, but one coordinator manages those 200 volunteers, and those volunteers then bring almost $10 million back to Kansas City, which is just a really impressive number. And I think this is the kind of program that I would love to see more attention on as, you know, we continue to grow our programs. So what are we looking at towards 2027? We've been meeting with your new county administrator, and we're really trying to align with county priorities. This is what's really important to us right now as a regional office is, you know, we're part of the county. We get a lot of our local funding from the county, and so we should be at the table with you all the time trying to align on those priorities. And next week, I have a meeting with the county and the county staff to explain about the opportunities to partner with Extension at their all-staff meeting on Thursday next week. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about really trying to get more aligned there. We've also been strengthening our outreach to municipalities because we know, you know, the county is important and we love coming to the county, but all the cities within the county are also partners of ours. And they provide space and, you know, program supplies and all kinds of things. And so we've been making a really concerted effort through the council to do outreach, and all the council members have been going to different city council meetings and presenting on Extension and what's available, and so that people know that these are your tax dollars and that they should use these services because they're free or low cost. And then we just want to bring more of MU into Clay County. So I'd also put this out there as we would love to hear from the commissioners more frequently on things you guys would like, right? I thought you were going to say something right now.
No, I was
yeah.
just preparing.
Anyway, so we want to hear. I mean, that's the great thing about having a commissioner on our board is that we get to hear from you that way, but we always are open to you guys reaching out to us individually and telling us what you're hearing and what interest the community has in your areas of the county. So I tried to go through that as quickly as possible since we were running through this agenda tonight. But, we bring university knowledge, but we have it with a local relationship, and all of that comes together to make community action, right? We're just trying to make our county and our region a better place. So that's my quick update, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much. As you know, and several of us have served on the board with you, and it's a great experience to be there. Something that that I think is lost on a lot of people, and I think certainly our current representative, Commissioner Carpenter, I think would agree with this, and that is that the array, when you go through the number of areas that you are providing services to the county, I think it's easy for people to think in terms that the extension program is 4-H and that's it. Far from the truth, obviously. And I just want to say how much we appreciate the fact that you are partnering with others, because I was looking at the part where you're talking about, trying to mitigate fall hazards for seniors, which obviously hooks into the seniors program that we have here as well. So I think that one of the good side effects of having this conversation publicly is so that people understand that there are a lot of areas that you guys cover. Before we move on, and I would like you to repeat this perhaps before, as we finish our remarks, and that is, if you could give out information for contacts so that anyone who's watching this can, if they have questions or if they wonder, gee, I wonder if the MEO extension covers this area, they can cover it. The other thing is, because you are so widely involved, if it does happen to be an area that you are not involved in, my suspicion is that you would be able to guide a person who had a question to the appropriate area, even if it didn't fall directly under your program array.
Yeah, thank you for that, Commissioner. Yes, first of all, the contact, if you go to, if you Google search the University of Missouri Extension, we're in the Urban West, and so that would be, go to our website, and what's great, right on the top of the website page in our Urban West website, there's a calendar of activities. That calendar is up to date, so if you're looking for a specific class and want to know if it's being offered soon, you can click on that calendar. It opens up a big calendar page, and you can go through all the listings and offerings. So that's one way. We also have a newsletter that people can sign up to online on that web page. There's a button you can click and sign up for our newsletter to hear more about what we have coming down the pipelines and what we've been doing. You jogged my mind about one thing about partnership, and I think this is a really cool example. So when the SNAP Ed nutrition program took its hit and we lost a lot of the staff members, one of our partners, Mid-Continent Public Library, who we work with a lot, they have the same footprint as us. They're in Clay, Jackson, and Platte County, as well as Extension in the Urban West. That's our same footprint. And they had this brilliant idea where one of our nutrition specialists goes in and does a train-the-trainer model so their staff knows to look out for safety issues. And then she goes to one library and teaches a class while they broadcast her to 7 or 8 different libraries, and people can come in person, get the camaraderie of having their neighbors and stuff being in a class with them, but the instructor's at a library across town. And so it's been really a way to multiply our staff. And so you have one teacher teaching and she's in 10 locations at the same time. That's happening live. They can talk to her. She can talk to all the classes, all the participants in the room. There's a library staff member to help there in case there's an injury or something. But it's a really neat partnership. And so, our partners are what's helping expand the programs and reach more residents.
Very innovative, and I'm sure that those partnerships increase the innovative quality of how you folks operate and them as well. So it's great to hear that you folks are cooperating so well. Commissioner Carpenter?
Thanks. I just want to say thanks to you guys. GK and Dan are both fantastic, dedicated to what y'all do, so thank you for your work. I think a lot of these results just kind of speak for themselves. The service that MEO Extension is doing for the community. I mean, incredible numbers like the 10 million on the tax form savings and returns. So incredible stuff. Thanks to each of you. I've mentioned it to Commissioner Nolte a couple times offline, but I'll say again. So Commissioner Lawson is our alternate. Commissioner Lawson and I both serve on the Board of Zoning Adjustment. We've got a meeting next, as does Commissioner Wagner. We've got a meeting next Tuesday, because those board meetings get held the fourth Tuesday of the month, which, as you all know, is also when MU Extension holds your board meeting. So it makes attending both a challenge, to say the least. So I'll just mention it again. I think, at some point in the future, may want to try to deconflict the scheduling or change up the membership that we've got on MU Extension. Find out some way to allow, service on all the boards. But I appreciate what you guys do, and keep it up. Thanks.
Perhaps that's something that the administrator could help us on as far as the scheduling goes. I can see you're inputting information there, so appreciate that, so that it would be easier. Now that we have 7 commissioners, it's easier to spread the duties around a little bit, and certainly appreciate you guys serving on the boards you do. And with that, we will go to Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to tell my colleagues I did them a solid, because since I start teaching on Tuesday night starting next week, we ain't meeting Tuesday night. And so Mr. Jones should be finding you an alternative date. You're welcome.
The question is, what's your excuse now, John?
That was for your benefit as well as them. But more seriously, I wonder, GK, if you would humor me by going back to the slide about the classes that you're helping in this one right here.
Yes.
This one right here. This is a somewhat personal one for me, because my father in January fell 3 times, and as a result of that, he went to the hospital for several days, and he is now in a care facility. My aunt a month ago fell, and she was not found for 12 hours. She's since passed away. And I bring this up not so much because I'm looking for sympathy, but more to remind those who are watching that this is important. This can be the difference between life and death. And especially if someone is living alone, as in the case of my aunt, fortunately my mom was there to deal with my dad's situation. Nevertheless, I feel at least compelled to tell those who are watching, you may not be, you think, of the right age, but you never know. You may have a parent who may need to be aware of this, because that strength and balance piece, it says supports independence. How about living? Maybe living a little longer, right? So I just want to point out the importance of a program like this. I'm glad you're doing it. More people should know about it. And so I know it's just a slide of one of many, but I wanted to come back to this one, because this is an important one.
Well, I will commiserate with you a little bit. I understand in my own personal life the importance of fall prevention for people. Yeah. And we have at the Clay County Annex coming up is a chair yoga series. So it's not the Stay Strong, Stay Healthy, but similar concept. It's chair yoga for people who are aging, of all ages. And I have prodded my own mother to sign up for the class. How far is it from me? 15 minutes, Mom. How far? I'm like, just go to the chair yoga, right? Yeah. So I completely understand. I think these are very important, and there is not an age limit when you need to learn to have balance and stability in your life, because it not only costs municipalities lots of money, but it could cost your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I totally agree.
Yeah, well, appreciate you doing this and bringing up what's coming up. It's a big deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Helen was a lovely person, so certainly condolences. Before I have you repeat once again the contact information, I want to also say to Dan and all the others who serve not just on these boards, but the entire spectrum of boards and commissions that we appoint to and that advise us and administer services, how much we appreciate the work of our citizen volunteers. It's the backbone of how it is we are able to relate back to the citizenry. It's not just the time, treasure, and talent that you bring, but it is the ability to help us relate to the larger community. Sometimes it's easy to, when you're in a large county, to not necessarily be able to contact as many people in as personal a way as we would like. The boards and commissions are a wonderful way for us to be able to relate more to more people. And that's certainly appreciated, the service that you and everyone else renders on that. And of course, GK, we've known each other for some time.
Yeah, we have.
And you are a very dedicated man, so we appreciate that. So unless there are any further questions, please, for our people who may be watching now or later, make sure they know exactly how to contact you folks, because you've got a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, so on the slide there, extension.missouri.edu is the website. Our particular, you have to / Urban West if you want to go to our particular page. But that site has lots of resources on it, from free publications to latest trends that are coming. I mean, it's a great place to dig around. Like I said, if you have the PowerPoint later, going to things like All Things Missouri for some data to inform some of your decisions as legislators is a great free resource. So yes, thank you. And thank you to the council. Again, Dan, I appreciate you.
Thank you, GK.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I see no other comments, so we will go ahead and close the discussions. Thank you again for your time this evening and being here and all the work, the fine work that you do.
Thank you.
Mr. Administrator, we can go ahead and move on to the next discussion item, please.
Thank you.
Yes. You have one more discussion item is our VIVE implementation update, and our risk manager, Christine Pulse, will be the one doing that presentation.
Yes. Scholarship.
A lot of props tonight.
Give me just a second to get set up here. Good evening. Risk Manager Christine Pulse. I'm here tonight to give the Commission an update on our AED program, specifically AVIVE, and to bring to your attention some activities that you're going to see next week. The Clay County, we've had an AED program in place for about 20 years. And as a result, we realized that we needed to put a plan in place to make sure that the units that were out in the county, that we got those replaced because they were definitely out of warranty. The first step in that was to make sure that there was money available. The Commission did approve funding to purchase the AVIVE AEDs with the 2025 budget. The next step after that was actually making the purchase, which happened later on that year. And once we had that in place, myself and facilities and the Sheriff's Office met to discuss what the implementation of that would be. As you can imagine, receiving 65 AEDs with carry cases and cabinets, that's a considerable delivery that would be made to the county. And we don't have a lot of space, just waiting for someone to use. So as we were going through and looking at the implementation, we realized at the same time the Law Enforcement Resource Center was coming to conclusion on construction, and the Sheriff's Office was going to be taking possession of that. So we determined that was going to be our where. That's where the delivery of the product would be made and where we would be able to hold it. Once we determined that, the Sheriff's Office had to look at their own schedule, because obviously they have activities going on. They already had training planned. And when we looked at all of that and mapped it out, January of this year turned out to be the best time to have the product delivered. So AVIVE worked with us, and the product was delivered in January and received, and they came out shortly thereafter. They had an onboarding team. They helped us unbox 65 AEDs, plug them all in, check the software, make sure all of them were working, that they were fully charged. While they were also here, they made sure that the Sheriff's Office was trained on how to properly use the AED and then provide that training to employees and staff who would be using it. And then I think also one of the best things about this product is they have it's called the Real Connect dashboard. And for myself as the administrator of the AED program and the Sheriff's Office, we can log into this dashboard at any time and see where all the AEDs are in the county. We can check the health of the entire fleet. We can see how much battery life is out there, if a pad has been used, if there's one that has an error message. We're able to do that real time, anytime by logging in. Also, if there are events and we need to pull reports to include in cases, we can do that as well. Whereas used to, with the device that we had before, the Sheriff's Office would have to bring it to me, we'd have to pull the information off of it. So it was a really great thing. Once they came, it was a one-day thing. We knocked it out in one day. And after that, the sheriff's office got very busy doing training. And as you can see from the numbers on the screen, they trained over 100 personnel to use the Avive AED. While they were busy doing that, I was also busy because we still had some Zoll units that were within warranty. We took those out of the sheriff's office since they transitioned 100% to Avive, and we repurposed those around the county to other county buildings such as Parks and Road and Bridge, where they also had the old Zolls. So we gave them the latest and the newest Zolls. And during that transition, we ended up having a few that we didn't have locations for, and so we were able to expand our coverage, and we were able to put some in assessor vehicles, the juvenile transportation vans, and then the public administrator vehicle as well, so expanding coverage. The other thing is all of the units that were out of date, the older ones, they were taken out of service. Those were kept at the Law Enforcement Resource Center, and as we accumulated enough of them, we UPS'd those back to Avive, because part of the partnership was a trade-in program where they gave us a rebate for each one of those Zoll AEDs that we sent in that eventually were given to a third-party vendor to be refurbished and put out into the community in places that can't afford AEDs. Pretty cool program. So currently, we still have 34 Zolls in service. They're in vehicles in 23 county buildings. So that's where we're at today. By 2030, which when I say 2030, that seems so far away, but it's not now. By 2030, all of the remaining Zolls that we have will be out of warranty, and it is our plan, if we have the budget, to completely transition to Avive in 2031. So. Within the first week of implementation, the county's investment in Avive, it had a real-life impact. The commission was made aware of this, that Deputy Vargas was honored in February of this year that he helped save the life of a Kearney resident with the Avive AED. After that happened, Avive actually reached out to us and said, you know, we think that what you guys are doing there in Clay County is really special. And they asked us if we would be interested in participating in a case study that would show the real life story that demonstrates the importance of having this technology in the area and why it's important and every second matters. We, of course, with permission, said that we would be absolutely thrilled to participate, and I would like to show you the result of that tonight.
We started implementing it January of this year, the Avive AED, and within the first week of one of our patrol deputies receiving this item, he was able to deploy it.
We were the first organization, the first county in Missouri to implement the Avive AED. When I got into work that Monday morning, there was an email that one of the units had been used that Friday night. The Avive AED had been used within a week of us deploying.
Whenever I did use the Avive AED, it was the second time I'd ever seen it. The first time was during training a week ago. I didn't really think I was ever going to use it again.
I owe my life, as a matter of fact, to the fact that they had made this decision, and it was in the hands of Deputy Vargas, and he was trained and prepared to use it.
How it all played out for Deputy Vargas to respond, he was in close proximity to the residents. It was a medical-related call for service. He knew automatically to grab his AED, just like how we train. What's going on?
When the call came out, I immediately grabbed my AED, just knowing that it was an unresponsive party, and at the time, but that and any medics ran inside the house.
I got it.
Saw him laying on the ground. Another family member had been doing CPR on him already, but she stated that she needed an AED, and just, thankfully I had one on me. And the design of the Avive AED was pretty good. It was pretty simple. Just kind of pull it out and then just follow the instructions on the thing. And it's
Powered on. Make sure 911 has been contacted.
It was a lot more relieving knowing that it was advising a shock. So it was picking up something, having that rhythm that it gives you verbal or audibly, that helps a lot with it as well. And just being very loud. That way, if you're kind of getting tunnel vision, you kind of get snapped back into it.
On the patient's bare skin, exactly as shown.
One of the features when we were comparing AED units was the fact that that information is recorded and can be transferred instantly once we have a medical personnel that responds to the situation, arrives on the scene. We're able to give them that information right then on the spot.
As soon as EMS arrived, it was after the second shock had been done on him. They hooked up their machine and gave him a little QR code for them to have his reading at the hospital for when people get shocks. We just emailed it, so it provided more of a bigger picture for medical staff whenever they want to look into him.
When you guys want to scan our new AED thing, I guess that gives you like the shock, the heart rhythm, everything else that when you put the pads on. Perfect. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
He deployed it the way he was trained, which again is very easy to deploy, and was able to save his life.
I think I was just placed in the right spot by God, and I was able to save somebody's life.
My name is Don Lee McIntyre. I'm 61 years old this year. I married my high school sweetheart. We have 2 children, 2 adult children, but we're a close-knit family. It was an interesting day because it's my mother's birthday, and she's deceased. And so when I woke up that day, she was on the forefront of my mind. All right. I go downstairs and I jump on the treadmill. My son pops his head in, and he's never home at that time. But I went ahead and sat down, and I had my knees up in front of me, and I remember feeling a little more tired than would have expected. And that's the last thing I can recall. My son had come in and sat down and was behind me, and I guess he heard a thud, and my wife came to my side and immediately started CPR while Alex called 911. My daughter is a physician. She's an OBGYN, and it just so happened that she was on her way home. Hannah came running in and just jumped on me. I had immediate attention, which was very fortunate because my heart had completely stopped. I had no pulse. I wasn't breathing. So they did a good job, bridging that time with their efforts until the Deputy Sheriff Vargas showed up with your AED device when they were bringing me up from sedation. My first awareness of it, I couldn't move, but I could think. I couldn't speak or anything, but I was trying to get their attention to communicate with them, and I was trying to tell my wife DNR. And thankfully, they knew better. I get emotional when I talk about it and think about it, especially the part about my mom and her birthday, and then the DNR, because I think, I'm just so glad it all worked out the way it did. I got the opportunity to meet Deputy Vargas, or I was already informed that he had only had that device for a week, and that I was the first time he had used it on a real person. I kind of jokingly said it to him and shook his hand, and I was like, I'm sure glad that you're a guy that listens in class and reads instructions.
The county is, all for investing in its own people. I saw it just as any other day, something that I, trained to do, and something that I'm expected to do if I'm ever put in that situation. But sitting back and looking into it, it is a big deal.
I can't say enough about, how blessed I am that decision was made. And I'm just grateful that I get to, and I'm continuing a normal life. Looking forward to years to come with my family, enjoying those celebrations of life.
So, sharing this story highlights Clay County and our commitment to safety and well-being in our community for businesses, visitors, and families. This video, along with a press release, is going to go out August 25th. We are partnering with Avive. Avive is going to launch the video and the press release through their national channels. And here locally, the county and the sheriff's office are coordinating our social media to put the video, and the press release will be sent to local media stations here in town as well. So you're going to hear the message. Any questions?
Thank you. And just one more reason why you got that scholarship, just kicking it. Love it. My question is about the difference, if there is any, I'm sure there is, between Avive and the older Vol AEDs. And I guess my question is really one of functionality and the difference in that functionality between the two or their features. And I guess my question really gets down to, as you mentioned, eventually we'll roll all the vols off. But I guess I'm wondering, is there enough difference between their features and functionality where we would really want to consider moving more quickly in that rollout? And obviously, as you mentioned, the sheriff's office is completely switched over. And so maybe that is sufficient, I don't know. But I'm just curious as to your opinion as to whether or not it makes sense to wait, or if this body needs to consider accelerating that. And of course, there's associated costs with that, get it? But would be very interested in your opinion.
It's a good question, and I would say there's two parts to that. One of the reasons why we chose the sheriff's office to launch this first is, since I've been here, knock on wood, that has been the only department within the county that has had to use an AED. So first and foremost, that was kind of a priority, just by the nature of their work. That the areas that where we have the Zoll's AEDs right now, none have been needed. So that's the first part. The second part is that the big difference is, number one, the size. This is 2 pounds. The other, the old Zoll, I should have brought one out here with me so you could see, but much larger. This also, you don't have to worry about switching pads. Right now, the Zoll AED comes default with an adult pad on it because that's the likelihood of who's going to need the treatment. But if you do happen to have a child, you have to stop, open the box that has the child pad, take the other pad off, put this pad on. The way this works is when you first turn it on, it will give you the option to select the child button, and it adjusts the voltage that's administered rather than having to change a pad. I think also Deputy Vargas talked about one of the features that he thought was really good is when it is analyzing and advising whether shock is needed, it will have you do, I think, about 2.5 minutes of CPR, chest compressions in between, and it gives you the. So he's talking about tunnel vision and, you know, that helping, keeping him, you know, present. You know, also anyone can use this. I think a kid could, because the display comes on and it shows you everything that you need to do. It also does it in Spanish. So I think there are, you know, I used to drive a 2006 Mercury Mariner, and when I got rid of it, I got a 2015 Ford Edge. And the technology advance was so big, I had to ride with a book in my seat. That is what I would compare the Zoll to this to. I mean, the technology advance, 7-month life battery, 7 months. It's incredible. And we don't have to put batteries in it. You just plug it in with a USB and charge it in the wall. So I think from the perspective of realizing our investment that we have in Zoll, with the units that we have in place, they've been perfect. They've been beautiful. They work really well. It's a tried and true technology. I don't think that we would need to move any sooner. You know, maybe if we see lifestyle changes and we saw maybe more people at risk in places where we have the older units, it would be something we would consider. But I think the plan that we have in place just to address them when they go out of warranty is a good one.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate that because I'm sold based on what I just saw. But, you know, put them where they're most used and most needed, and I get that. But thank you for the presentation, Christine. Wonderful job.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lawson.
First of all, it's so rewarding to see when we invest in something and then the good that comes from that. Too often I feel like we're spending money and we're not seeing the return on investment. But when it's something like this, that really is quite gratifying. So thank you for the information, and thank you for the job you do. You do a wonderful job,
Thank you.
and we really appreciate you.
I do want to let you know that the original plan was to invite Donnelly McIntyre here for you guys to meet him this evening, but Avive was so excited about this project. This week was their annual company gathering, and they showed this video to their company employees, and they invited Sheriff Aiken, Deputy Vargas, and Donnelly out to surprise their employees as a surprise guest to their meeting. So otherwise, we would have had him here tonight so you could see him as
Yeah,
well. But it really does show the discussions and the decisions you guys make in this room.
That would have been a neat thing. And it was great to see Donna. I miss her.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Are there any other, Commissioner Carpenter?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for the presentation. Very moving video. And it is, to Commissioner Lawson's point, very gratifying to see that type of, I mean, it's really life-saving heroism. And so obviously we're thankful to Deputy Vargas and to all of our folks who serve, and just so glad that we're able to participate in whatever type of social media awareness around this. I think that, like I said, is a really well done video, and very moving, like I said, so thank you. Thank you.
As I've said before, in other situations, it is always, we know that, you know, a lot of what we do goes for good purpose, and we try very hard to make sure that we are focused on that. However, seeing a single individual who exemplifies what it is we're trying to do is very, it drives the point home. It's one thing to know that we help X number of people. It is another when it is an individual that you can relate to, that has a name, a face, and a family. And it not only is gratifying, as Commissioner Lawson mentioned, but it also is, I think, motivational for us. When we see the fact that the things that we do have positive effects, especially as dramatic as this was, I think it motivates us to be even more diligent in what we do, and even more, more aggressive in trying to make sure that these services are available to members of our county. So thank you for what you do. Thank you also, by extension, the folks with the Sheriff's Office and people who do this heroic work every day. So thank you all for that.
The last thing I will say is that the Sheriff's Office did such a great job with training, but also, as you can imagine, the logistics of all of these Zoll AED units coming in, going through those to make sure the ones that were taken out of service were, and the ones that had to come to me, that was a lot of work. And so I thank the Sheriff's Office for staying on top of that, because that wasn't easy to keep all of those straight. So we sent 44 units to Avive in their trade-in program, so.
By the way, one thing before we go, I want to point out, because I want to piggyback on something Commissioner Lawson said, and it was almost almost an aside, and that was how good it was to see Donna again. And I think what I take away from that is not just, yes, it is, we all knew her and think the world of her, but it is a reminder that all of us, no matter at what point in county service we are basically able to do the things we do because of those who came before us, like Commissioner Jay Lawson. So, I mean, the idea that we are able to do what we do is not because we are great people. My colleagues are great people. But because we have people who came before us, who laid the groundwork, and for us, it is a pleasure to be able to use that groundwork and to make progress in what we're able to do as a county. So certainly that's a wonderful thing. Commissioner Johnson, I talked long enough to where you had a comment, I believe, so please proceed.
First of all, thank you. That was a great presentation. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for saving lives. Not only this one that was mentioned, I think just recently, was it Deputy Nave? Is that his name? That applied a tourniquet at the scene of an accident and saved somebody else's life there. Oftentimes that's, there's a lot of things that law enforcement does on a regular basis that doesn't get mentioned. And it's just part of what they do. And no, even when it comes to saving lives, some of the officers, that's just what I'm supposed to do. They don't think much of it. But it's a big deal. And it's a big enough deal that we have TV shows about it. It was funny, my mother-in-law used to watch cop shows all the time. Cops was one of them. And she'd always ask me about it. She's a dietitian. And she'd always ask me about it if I ever watch them. I said, well, do you ever come home and watch a dietitian show? She said, of course not. I said, well, I don't watch cop shows either. It just doesn't interest me. And that's what I do. But there's a lot of folks out there and a lot of our deputies that just go out there every night and just do what they're supposed to do. And they're heroes. They're doing God's work. I mean, they're saving lives out there. And this is one example. Deputy Nave is another one. And there's plenty of others out there. So I just want to say thank you to our deputies and to the training that they're receiving. I know we got, some training folks here and how critical that is. But thank you to them. Thank you to our risk manager and for the equipment that we're getting them. And that's why I think it's so important when it comes to budget time to think about our deputies. Think about not only pay for recruitment and retention, but also for equipment and training. Mm-hmm. That is so important. So with that, I'll shut up.
No problem. Thank you for making those points. Something that you said I thought was interesting was about the tourniquet. That is low tech. And it's an interesting juxtaposition you set up that we're talking about high tech here and you're talking about low tech, and yet they are all employed by our deputies. So good point. Thank you. With that, unless there's any further discussion, we will end it here. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we go?
That's it.
Very well. Thank you very much. That concludes our discussion items. That brings us to reports. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, this evening we have no reports on the agenda this evening. We just county administrative comments is our next one.
Okay. That brings us to county administrator comments. So you're on again.
Only comment tonight is just we have the meeting August 27th is our next business meeting. That'd be it for this evening.
Okay. Commissioner Carpenter, we're going to go to commissioner comments. If you'd like to jump in, please.
All right. Well, I'll just say I think it's back to school time. I was talking to Commissioner Wagner earlier. Tomorrow, North Kansas City schools are doing their annual convocation event, a couple of them. And as we've discussed as a commission before, I think my top two most important issues to preserve the quality of life here in our Northland community for generations to come are one we just talked about, which is public safety and keeping crime low, and the other is making sure that we continue to have excellent schools like we do with North Kansas City Schools, Liberty, Smithville, et cetera, as well, of course. And it's an exciting time of year, and just want to wish all of the thousands and thousands of staff at our various school districts, and that's bus drivers like my Uncle Brian, that's school teachers, cafeteria workers, the custodial crew, administration, everybody, as well as, of course, all the parents and kids. Wonderful new school year, and hopefully it'll be a good one. Thanks.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yeah, I'll just add to that. Some of you know I work at UMKC, and I was at UMKC today, and the student drop-offs where the moms and dads were moving their kids into school for the first time, and the tears, and some were smiling, some were crying, but some people know how that goes. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal for kids, and it's a big deal for the parents, having gone through it myself a couple times. But it's good luck to everybody going through that.
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. I'll take it from the opposite bent in that parents, I know it's a great relief that you're sending them off to school, but you are not off the hook. Help them with their homework. Make sure they're doing their homework. Because without doing that, they will not be successful because, as I believe, schools are not daycare centers. You are expected to do work, so parents, do your part. And good luck to those kids, and God help the students I have Tuesday night. But I will be gentle on them. Thank you. And hopefully they won't call this guy to come deal with me.
You are a gentle soul.
No, I try to be a gentle soul. Thank you.
Commissioner Lawson.
Now, a couple of things. You think they cry when they go to kindergarten or anything. Well, they go off to college and you see those bills start coming in, and you're really going to be crying.
I'm there with you already.
Yeah, no kidding. But tonight, there was a little remark that Commissioner Johnson had to make about the guns, and Commissioner Lawson. If all of you will remember back some time ago, he made a little funny remark about my adeptness with a rifle or a pistol. So I challenged him. I want all of you deputies to listen to this. I challenged him to a shoot-off, you know, and we were going to do it when we opened the Lurk, but of course, you know, too many civilians around, so probably safer not to. And since then, I've asked and asked and asked. Wants to make fun of me about how I shoot, but he won't man up and get into a shoot-off with me. So once again, I'm going to bring that to the forefront, that my little Glock and I are ready to go anytime he's ready to go.
Before I go to Commissioner Wagner, I just want to say, usually we don't go back and revisit during these. However, before I go to Commissioner Wagner, since your honor has been besmirched, Commissioner Johnson, would you like to respond?
We'll settle this at the ranch.
Commissioner Wagner, I think you would, let's go to your safety of your comments.
To the sheriff's office, would you hang out for an extra 15 minutes so we don't have like something at 10 paces on the street outside? You know, I don't know how this escalation's going, but I'm glad you're here. So, but please stick around a little longer. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to make a comment that does not necessarily involve gunplay.
Good.
Not necessarily. I just want to say that, you know, I was for some time, as many of you know, a teacher, and I was going to ask Commissioner Johnson, so we heard about the parents crying and the parents being happy. Were there any instructors crying particularly?
That's one right there.
But no, I think I'm glad everybody brought up the educational aspect of this evening and the rest of the school year. And I just want to say that we do need to make sure that when we are aware of what is going on, it begins and ends, as most things do, with the human element. And that would be the teachers, that would be all of the people who work in the various services that are provided to the schools. From nut to soups, as far as who all is there, who is doing the hard work and the heavy lifting. It is, it can be in some cases, it feels rather thankless. I always enjoyed it, but it is certainly a rewarding experience to work with children. And as Commissioner Wagner knows, being in the educational biz a little bit, but make sure that you do understand the great work that is done by our instructors. Back in the day, it was enough just to be able to teach addition, subtraction, spelling. Today, teachers are called upon to do a very wide number of services. And I guess the best thing I can say is when you are interacting with your teachers, with your school personnel, exercise patience and understanding and realize that they are providing a tremendous service for our community and for our families. And I don't really recall seeing too many wealthy teachers living in mansions, so they are doing it at some personal sacrifice from what they could be earning. So with that, we are adjourned.